Welcome back to the Wind Up with Will. I'm your host, Will, here. And today I have another video about sports. As you can see, I'm wearing my Rangers gear. Sorry, my lighting is acting a little weird. Got my Rangers gear on. Why is something popping? Stuff's popping up on my screen. I've got my Rangers stuff on tonight for game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. My New York Rangers are playing the Florida Panthers. But first, I want to get you caught up on what has been happening in the NHL playoffs so far. I haven't posted a video in a little over a week, so there's been some games since then. So last Thursday, my Rangers won the series over the Hurricanes. The last 4-2 was the series. The game was 5-3. Chris Kreider had a hat trick in the game. Rangers all-time playoff goal scorer, making himself into a Ranger legend. Rangers were behind 3-1 early, and Kreider scored three straight goals, natural hat trick in the third period to give the Rangers the lead 4-3, and then Barclay Goodrow hits the empty netter to win it for us, win it for the Rangers. But I'm a Rangers fan. So that clinched the series. It was getting a little dicey. Rangers were up 3-0. It looked like they were going to sweep, maybe get five, maybe they lose game four, but they get game five. But after we lost game five at home in MSG, I was getting a little nervous. And when we were down 3-1, the Hurricanes, I'm like, this is going back to game seven. We've lost all momentum. We might get bounced. We beat them 2 years ago in the playoffs when they had home ice on game seven on their ice. It's looking like we're heading for their revenge on us. But it was not to be. Chris Kreider comes through for the Rangers. Rangers play well in that third period and get the win in game six to advance. Also, last week on Friday, the Florida Panthers were behind the Boston Bruins in game six 1-0. They scored two straight goals to win that series 4-2. They win the game 2-1. They had goals by Lundell and Forsling. I believe that's how you pronounce their names. And the Dallas Stars also won last Friday 2-1 over the Avalanche to advance in that series 4-2. Both of those teams. So we got the mixing up the teams. Panthers win their series 4-2 over the Bruins, and Stars win their series 4-2 over the Avalanche on Friday. Both those teams advance to the conference finals. We got the Rangers and Panthers meeting up in the Eastern Conference Finals, but we got one more team that's got to make it to the West. Game six of the series between the Oilers and Canucks was on Saturday. The Oilers have a blowout game. They win that 5-1 over the Canucks to force game seven on Monday night, which the Oilers win 3-2 to win in game seven to go to the Western Conference Finals. So our matchups in the Stanley Cup playoffs are the Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers. Two really good teams in the West. Stars usually have a good team, and the Oilers have some of the most talented players in the league in Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And tonight, Wednesday night, is the beginning of the Eastern Conference Finals between my New York Rangers and the Florida Panthers. Two of the best teams in the East going at President's Trophy winner and the team that won the President's Trophy 2 years ago and played in the Stanley Cup Finals last year, the Florida Panthers. Really solid team. Rangers playing them tonight. I'm going with my Rangers in this series. I think it'll be a close series. This was actually my prediction. If you go back a few videos, this was my lighting is acting weird. I really need to get some kind of better curtain to cut out that light or all the light coming in there. But if you go back and watch a few videos ago when I do my pre-playoff predictions for the Stanley Cup, I actually had the Rangers and Panthers meeting in the Eastern Conference Final. The Panthers have had really good playoff runs the last 2 years ago. I think they lost the first round, but they're a really good team. They won the President's Trophy 2 years ago. As the lowest seed last year, they go all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. And so this year, I knew they're going to be a good team again. The Rangers are good. We won the President's Trophy this year. I figured it'd be a good matchup, and it is. I'm going to go with the Rangers in 6 here. The Rangers have just looked really dominant outside of games. A little bit of game 4 against the Hurricanes and game 5 where they just looked out of it. The Rangers have looked really good. They swept the Capitals. They punched really hard the first 3 games in the Hurricanes series and in game 6. So the Rangers are a hard team. There's a reason. The President's Trophy winner, they're a really solid team. On the other side of the bracket with the Stars and Oilers, I'm going to go Oilers, and I'm going to go 7 games in that one. The Oilers have had has their first round go 7 games as well. No, they won that series 5-1 or 4-1 over the Kings, and then this series with the Canucks went to 7. I'm going to go 7 with the Stars. The Stars are a really good team. They're just a solid team. I think I'll go 7. Get the Oilers winning, the Rangers winning, facing off in the Stanley Cup Finals, and I'm going to go with the Rangers in 7. I think it'll be a phenomenal series with the most talented scorers in the league versus a really solid team with the best goalie in the league. Sorry, my lighting keeps acting up. I think it'll be a great series. I'm going to go with the Rangers winning the Stanley Cup Finals. I think that's just my prediction. I think the Rangers are just. I think we're a really solid team all the way. You got good goal scorers, best goalie in the league, great defensemen. Got a good coach, a really good coach who has led other teams to playing the Stanley Cup Finals. Has won a Stanley Cup Finals with the Carolina Hurricanes. So the Rangers, if the Rangers are going to win it, this is their year. Everything's fallen perfectly. It's the 30-year anniversary of when the Rangers last won it in '94. Also in '94, they won the President's Trophy. It was also the last time that the Rangers started a playoff run on 7-0, winning their first 7 games. It just seems like everything's falling in order for the Rangers to win the Stanley Cup for the first time since '94, and only the second time since 1940. So it's an exciting year for the Rangers, and I think the Rangers were truly the best team this year. It is our year of destiny, seems like. That's hockey. I know this video is going on 7 minutes now. And the Rangers game's actually starting. I've got it recorded, so I'm going to watch it delayed. But I've got a few other topics to go through here. I want to briefly mention Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's WNBA debut was last Tuesday, not yesterday. I know this is Wednesday, not yesterday, but the previous Tuesday. I was meaning to get a video out since then to talk about it, as she was one of the topics in a lot of my videos. She's been the most exciting college athlete this past year, one of the most exciting athletes in the world, and she's at the next level now, playing the WNBA. So I want to briefly talk about her in the WNBA. Now, I got to watch her season debut last Tuesday. I've only seen some clips since then. I've just not had time to sit down and watch some other of her games. Hopefully I can soon. But their season opener was at the Connecticut Sun. There was someone actually at the game that spent $6,000 to sit courtside. So this is a huge deal. Like, the WNBA has struggled at times getting attendance and TV ratings. And Caitlin Clark and some of these other young stars that have come into the league now that are household names from their college days, they're doing that. They're bringing the excitement to the WNBA. And you love to see it. You love to see a sport rise up and be successful. And Caitlin Clark is certainly doing that with all the fans that she's bringing with her. Now, she kind of had a bad night in her season debut. She was 5 of 15 from the field. She still scored 20 points. Let me pull up her full stats from her season debut. She was 5 of 15 from the field, 4 of 11 on three-pointers, 6 of 6 at the free throw line. She had 10 turnovers, she had 20 points, 10 turnovers, 2 steals, 3 assists, and no rebounds. And there was 2 or 3 times she looked lost on defense where she just kind of lost the person she was defending. There was a backdoor pass, or they would just kind of cut around her. So I think it's obviously going to be a learning curve for Caitlin Clark. She's playing at the next level. She's playing in the WNBA, where the average female basketball player is taller, bigger, faster, stronger than the average player she was playing against in college. So obviously she's going to have that to deal with as the bigger, stronger players. More physicality. There's a few rule changes, so that changes the game slightly. And also, it's it's also been a long season for her. She has a bunch of expectations on her back. There's also kind of a target on her back from a lot of the WNBA players might see her and be jealous of the attention that she's gotten, or think, oh, this rookie's going to come in here and talk all this smack and be all this great. Yeah, we'll see about that. So there is, I think, kind of a target on her back, and also a huge bit of expectations for her as well. How successful she's been in college, and now she's in the pro level. What that means, and all the fans and all the media attention around her. And she's also just played 40 games in college basketball, had a month off, and is about to play 40 more games. And, this isn't something that women basketball players often do. I know in the NBA they play 82 games, but in the WNBA they only play 40 games. And in college they only play, if you make it all the way to the championship, you play 40 games, around 40 games. So she is going to be a little exhausted, because as far as I know, I mean, she might have played 80 games before, playing with travel ball in high school and everything. She might have, I don't know. But it's a lot of games. She only had like a month off. She's learning like new plays under a new coach with new teammates, trying to gel them. So there's obviously a learning curve, and I think it's going to take a while. I mean, she scored 20 points in her debut. She scored 20 again the other night. Let me go to their second game. They got blown out 102-66 by the New York Liberty, team that was in the WNBA Finals last year. In that game, Caitlin, I believe, only scored 9 points. Yeah, she only scored 9 points. She was 2 of 8 from the field, 1 of 7 on 3-pointers, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 fouls, and only 3 turnovers that game. So not bad in turnovers. The next game, though, they made it closer. They lost 91-80 to the Liberty, and Caitlin scored 22 points to lead the Fever for the second time in 3 games. She also had 8 assists to lead them. And then on Monday they lost another game, 88-84 to the Sun. They've played some tough teams early on with the Sun and Liberty. Fever were 0-4 now. Clark led them again with 17 points and 5 assists. Obviously, I think there's going to be a learning curve in gelling with her teammates, the new league, playing a total of close to 80 games. She slightly injured her ankle, I think, the other game, too. She left the game, then came back in. There's all these expectations. So, obviously, it's going to be a learning curve. She's not going to drop 30 or 40 every night like she did in college. But as we've seen the first few games, against some good teams, she's leading the Fever in scoring. She obviously can still score, and something that does move to the next level easily, and we see this with the men as well, is shooting and passing, as well as, just basketball IQ, knowing the right plays to make. And Caitlin Clark has all 3 of those, and those will move easy. What I think is going to be an issue with her is probably the size and physicality. She's 6 foot, which in college means you're a pretty tall player out there, because not every guard in college and women's college is 6 foot. My college, Murray State, our tallest player was 6 foot. Our center is 6 foot, the same height as Caitlin Clark. So she obviously is pretty tall for college. Now they're playing in the Big Ten and playing against these other big schools. They have taller girls. They have tall girls as well. But watching her WNBA debut, she's one of the smallest players out there. I mean, there's a lot of girls that are 6 foot or taller. So there is going to be some difficulty with the size and I think the physicality. But she has the shooting skills, the basketball IQ, and she's an amazing passer as well as a scorer. She finds ways to score, not just shooting 3-pointers, but driving to the basket. She's going to do fine in the WNBA. I think we need to pump the brakes on acting like, well, she's not all that or anything. I don't know anyone that said that yet, but I can see people already like foaming at the mouth of, oh, I can say that she's not that good now. But I think the reality is she is going to be good at this level. She's not going to click right away. And I think a great comparison is Sabrina Ionescu, who plays for the New York Liberty. A few years ago, she was one of the best women's college players, and then she went to the WNBA, and I remember like, oh, I'll follow her. She's a good player. And saw that she only scored like 9 or 10 points her first season. I was like, wow, like she was really good in college, and she's only scoring like 9 or 10 points a game in the pros. And then a few years, like the next year is like 12 or 13 points, and it's 15. And then last year she's averaging 20 points a game. I think she was an all-star. So sometimes it just takes a bit of a learning curve to get your game to that next level. And the fact that Caitlin Clark's already scoring like 20, close to 20 points a game. I want to look at her, what she's averaging. She's averaging 17 points a game, 4 rebounds, 5.5 assists, zero point 0.8 steals. I mean, that's still pretty good. She's a rookie, and I think she'll probably be Rookie of the Year. And she is going to be a star in this league, and I'm happy for her and excited to see what she does at this level. And I know the Fever are bad right now. They had the number 1 pick last year. They might have the number 1 pick again this year. And they've not looked good, being 0-4. But they've played some a couple close games against the Liberty and the Sun. Two good teams. So we'll see. Maybe down the stretch they become a better team and make the playoffs. But that's what I've got on Caitlin Clark. She's going to be good at the next level. It's not going to be right away. She still is good, but she's not at that great elite level that she was in college. She's good, but it might take a year or two before we see her dropping 30 a game, like averaging 30 a game, something like that. I also want to move over and talk about the NBA playoffs real quick. That's probably what a lot of you have clicked on this video for. All my NBA content that I keep missing out on, that I keep promising I'm going to deliver for y'all, and I've continued to fail at providing, which I apologize. I'm hoping I can get more videos out, like start doing daily videos or every other day videos. I think that would be great. So I can just keep y'all up to date more often instead of doing 20 or 30 minute videos. I can maybe do 10 to 12 minute videos every day. So in the NBA, my New York Knicks. It's been a great year to be a New York fan. The Rangers, the Knicks, both making it to the Eastern Conference semifinals at least, or the Eastern Conference semifinals. My Knicks lost Game 7 on Sunday to the Pacers. Finally, the injuries caught up with us. I know we're Navy SEALs in Knicks uniforms, like Rick Carlisle said, but you can only sustain so many injuries, especially by the time Brunson goes out in that game. The momentum just swung out the door for the Knicks. Survived for a while without Randall being out for the playoffs. Bogdanovich being out, Mitchell Robinson being out, OJ Anunoby missing some games, Josh Hart playing banged up, Brunson playing banged up, Brunson then getting injured and leaving. There's just so many injuries, and you can only take so much beating. But the fact this team played with such heart and such passion and was able to overcome so many of these injuries gives me hope for the Knicks going forward. I would like to see what the team looks like next year, healthy, with Randall back. Maybe they can add another player. I think this Knicks team is going in a good direction. The fact that they were the 2 seed and made it to almost made it to the Eastern Conference Finals with how many injuries they had, I think shows the perseverance, how great of a team it is, especially those Nova Knicks with DiVincenzo just nailing threes, Brunson and Hart. It's a great chemistry, and they've got a good coach in Tom Thibodeau. I think this Knicks team can be good going forward. I think they just need to maybe be healthy and maybe add a piece. But overall, amazing year for them. Definitely great accomplishment. Coming into the season, there's no way I would have picked us to be a 2 seed and make the Eastern Conference semifinals. I would have been hoping to just make the playoffs. Well, knowing we were going to make the playoffs, but probably like maybe 5, 6 seed, something like that. Maybe hope to get 4. But I didn't, 2 seed was amazing. And just the fact that we made it this far and it looked like, hey, we just keep winning with all the injuries. But the Knicks finally met their match, and the Pacers lost 130 to 109 on Sunday in Game 7. Pacers advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals versus the Celtics, who clinched their series a long time ago. So long ago that I've even forgotten who they last played. It was the Cleveland Cavaliers. They beat them in 5 games, 4-1. The Celtics are just dominant. I think this is the Celtics year. I think they're the team to win it all. Sorry, I'm already spoiling my NBA Finals prediction before I even go through all the teams. But they're playing the Pacers now in the Eastern Conference Finals. They won last night in overtime, 133 to 128. There was a crazy 3 that Jaylen Brown hit to send it into overtime. we're going to see how far or how well the Pacers match up against them. From what I've seen, the Pacers played the Knicks really well. They overcame some adversity against the Knicks, even though the Knicks are banged up. They played the Celtics really well last night. And that was in Boston. So this series could go 7, but I'm going to say Celtics in 6. I think this is the Celtics year. I think they're the team to beat, and until someone beats them, they're the team. So they're the team I got out of the East. In the West, we've got the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Mavericks beat the Thunder, the number 1 seed in the West, in their series 4-2. They barely won the other night, 117-116 to clinch that series. Dallas is in the Western Conference Finals. Minnesota Timberwolves have been amazing all year. They knocked out the defending champs, the Denver Nuggets, in Game 7 in Denver. What a series, man! Knocking out the defending champs in the conference semifinals. They beat them 98-90 in Game 7, and they were down in this game. They were down 15 at halftime. The Timberwolves kind of look like a team of destiny as well. That's why I'm going to pick them over the Mavericks, also in 6 games, to face the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. And I'm going to go Celtics in 7. I think this is going to be a phenomenal NBA Finals, with a team that's never won it before facing the team that's tied for the most titles of all time. It's going to be phenomenal to watch, and I'm looking forward to it. I've loved this NBA playoffs so far. I've loved the NHL playoffs as well. I'm looking forward to the finals of both. I have one more topic to briefly cover before I end this video. Scottie Scheffler was arrested in the PGA Championship in Valhalla, Louisville. This was it Saturday? No, it was Friday when he was arrested. He was arrested Friday. He struck a police officer with his vehicle. Now, there seems to be some confusion on what happened, and there's different stories. Essentially, what seems to have happened was that there was a wreck, and there was a man killed that was hit by a bus. And there's some confusion as to whether the police officer that was stopping traffic was ushering Scottie Scheffler to go through, whether Scottie Scheffler thought he could go through. The cop claims that he was telling Scottie Scheffler that he couldn't go through. Scottie Scheffler might not have known that there was a wreck there and thought he could go through. There's some confusion on that. And as he went through, it seems that the police officer attached himself to his vehicle. Scottie stops, and it injures the police officer with the vehicle, and another police officer pulls him out of the vehicle and arrests him. So there's some confusion on that. I think the Louisville Police Department or Louisville attorney, I forget who, someone's pressing charges. I think the Louisville Police Department's pressing charges against him for assault, essentially, I think, 2nd-degree assault of a police officer. There's some different stories there, but he was out on no bail, like an hour before he had to play on Friday. So he still got to play. And he played phenomenally. He shot amazing, but he didn't play as well on Saturday. And the winner of the PGA Championship is Xander Schauffele, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He won in Valhalla. I was a little disappointed. I forgot that it was in Valhalla this year. I knew it was coming up at some point in Valhalla. Just kind of lost track of it. But that's an exciting win for Xander, and I guess we need to follow Scottie and see what ends up happening to him. It's kind of sad news, considering just kind of reached the top of the world, and now might be facing charges for hitting a police officer with his vehicle. But this is my video for today, and let me know your thoughts down below on who's going to win the Stanley Cup playoffs, who's going to win the NBA, who's going to win the Stanley Cup Finals, who's going to win the NBA Finals. How good is Caitlin Clark going to be in the WNBA, and does Scottie end up going to jail over this? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.